So, Rick, are the old Lakers title contenders?
No, they are not title contenders. If everything that we've seen when it comes to the Lakers and it comes to winning championships and what they had, what their hallmark was last year, is their offense going to be improved? Yeah, probably. Russ Westbrook coming in and Carmelo Anthony is going to upgrade their ability to score the ball. And I do believe in the regular season that they will be formidable. That's going to be a tough group to prepare for on a night in and night out basis. But they also lost an awful lot, and they lost the hallmark of their team last year. Last year's offense wasn't very good, 24th in the league last I checked. But their defense was number one, and it was number one even when Anthony Davis was not playing or was healthy. Same with LeBron James missing time. That was because of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Alex Caruso, and Dennis Schroeder, all of whom received at least one vote for the all-defensive teams for the year. How many votes did Russ Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and Kent Bazemore receive for all-defense last year? Not a single vote. And I would dare say that it's probably been a couple years before since any one of them has received a vote. That's where things go sideways with this team. The age and the experience and the offensive firepower and the depth that they've tried to create, I could see them being formidable during the regular season. I'm even going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say they can get through the 82 games. But if we're talking about title contenders, and we look at how this year's title was won, yes, three-point shooting was a big factor during the regular season. And it was early on in the playoffs. But ultimately, when we got down to the last couple of rounds, it was about how well you could defend. And that is where the Lakers are coming up short, nowhere close to what they were last year. And that's why, as much as I'm looking forward to seeing this experiment, I can't put them in the title contender category, even though the Western Conference, in my opinion, is wide open.
Well, as long as LeBron is on the Lakers, I'm going to say that they are contenders. I know he keeps saying it's washed king and everyone's doubting him, and I'm not buying into that. I don't think that LeBron is washed. Now, I agree with you, Rick. The defensive part of it is a factor, and in the playoffs, late in the playoffs, we did see how valuable defense was. But I would also argue that health played a much bigger role in those two teams being in the finals. We saw what they went up against throughout the playoffs, and had everyone been healthy, would those two teams be there? We don't know. Obviously, it played out how it did, and we have our champion. But I do think that health is a big factor, which is why I believe Russell Westbrook is huge for the Lakers, because we know he's going to be at ludicrous speed every single game. He's going to bring it 100% during the regular season, and I do think that's something that the Lakers need, especially because they are the oldest team in the league. But I'm laying all this at the feet of Anthony Davis. If they're going to win a championship, if they're truly going to be contenders, it's on Anthony Davis. He's the fourth youngest player on this team at 28. He's the guy.
Are you comfortable doing that?
No, but that's what it is.
Okay.
Like, this is what they have assembled. So if they are going to be contenders, if I'm going to assume that Anthony Davis is going to be healthy at the end of the season, which is obviously a big assumption, then they have a chance to win a championship because Anthony Davis is healthy. He is an incredible player. We saw what he's capable of when he's healthy. So it's not really about the rest of the roster. It's not about the defense. It's not about if LeBron is going to be what he's capable of at this point in his career. It's not about Russell Westbrook. It's about Anthony Davis to me. If he's healthy, they're going to be a problem. It's just a matter of his health.
Okay. But I've seen him one time where he was healthy enough to help a team win a championship. One time. And that was in a truncated season where he had 3 months off before we had this short runway to winning the title.
It's fair.
Come on. How long has he been with the Lakers? At that point in time, how long had he been with the Lakers?
How long has he been in the league?
How long had he been with the Lakers?
Won one playoff round prior to getting to the Lakers, and then they go to the bubble and they win a championship.
How long was he with the Lakers? Some would say that going into the bubble was more harsh conditions than being in a regular season.
But not physically, LaVar.
No,
not physically.
I mean,
he had months off, and he came in 100% healthy, and it was a shortened season. It's fair from Rick. It is. This is why it's my question. Is he going to get through an entire season?
Of course it's fair from me. I'm always fair.
I'm not buying that. I think the situation is the situation, and we can look at it in terms of rest. We just talked about the whole Dak Prescott situation and how he's washed up and all that stuff, and he doesn't have anything left.
No one said
I'm
that.
going to double down on this with LeBron James. You know, it's called the bathers. You know, you kings get washed. I mean, he's not washed up. He's washed. He's been clean for quite some time now. Listen, they were the guys that were in the lead to be looked at as winning the championship this year. Are we going to debate that? Were we not looking at them to come out of the West and be able to contend for the championship as a contender this season? I think, and
beginning of the year, yes.
And to say that
beginning of the year, yes.
Okay,
but then we got to the end of the year, and Anthony Davis was hurt again.
Mid-season,
and LeBron James
towards the end,
got hurt again.
All right, so here's the problem that I have with this. You say that they lost a lot, and that takes away from the team that they are. What did they really lose that's considered to be a lot on this Lakers team, on this Lakers roster? Are we going to throw Schroeder out there? He didn't play very much.
Yes.
He was injured quite a bit as well. He didn't make as much of a difference as they would have liked him to make. Are we going to look at our guy that just went to the 76ers? He didn't even play in the last rounds of the playoffs. He's on the sideline, joking around, playing around, imitating what LeBron James is doing, right? So to me, when I look at you, all right, Caldwell Pope is your biggest loss on this roster. If you're telling me by adding Russell Westbrook in the immediate, forget talking about Melo and what he can bring to you in the sharpshooting game and spot situations, or even Ariza, who can help you on the defensive side of the ball, who plays some very fierce defense, or even Dwight Howard, that could possibly give you some good boards and some defensive moments at the cup. For me, I look at this team and I say, as long as, and Joy touched on this, as long as you have LeBron on your roster, for now, I'm not going to cut against that. And then you add AD to that. You're talking about a guy in Russell Westbrook, who I will continue to maintain, will be the energy of this team in the regular season. They needed a guy who would buy them time during the regular season so that they can focus their attention in the postseason. Russ is going to give you what you need during this regular season with a cash crew. They're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to come to life, and there's not going to be a team that can stand up to them until they get to the finals, which will be probably the Brooklyn Nets, which I think they match up very well against if they were to play them in a 7-game series. They have to be considered a contender.
Okay, so I'm not basing this just on, airy things that I just believe, fantasies or whatever. I'm basing this on what we've seen.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook, I'm so glad, LaVar, that you kept emphasizing in the regular season.
Yes.
Because
that's what we know.
In the regular season, yes, Russell Westbrook is a force to be reckoned with. No question about it. And they needed that energy and they needed that drive. It was something that was missing. No question. But Russell Westbrook falls off in the postseason. And he falls off dramatically when it comes to efficiency. And he did that in spite of having a great regular season with the Washington Wizards last year. And the reason that they couldn't get out of the first round and weren't even a threat to get out of the first round is because Russell Westbrook was a completely different player in the postseason. That playing with your hair on fire and high reward, high risk style does not work in the postseason, and that's what Russell Westbrook is. So you add that with the fact
you don't find the leadership of LeBron James to be a catalyst in that being a difference?
I'm so glad you took me to my next point, because here's the thing.
There you go.
I had the opportunity to see LeBron James against the Phoenix Suns when Anthony Davis went down. And it was the great opportunity for the Washed King not to demonstrate to me on Instagram with emojis or on Twitter that he's incensed by being called the Washed King. Show me. Anthony Davis isn't there. Show me that you can still give me one of those magnificent LeBron James type games with everything on the line. The man couldn't score 30 points or more in 3 opportunities. Couldn't give me that demonstrative, magnificent, over-the-top performance to win a single game against the Phoenix Suns, who were brand new to the playoffs, had not been there in 10 years. If there was ever an opportunity for LeBron James to take advantage of all his experience in the postseason, it was right there on a platter. And I don't believe it's because he didn't want to. I believe that he no longer can give you that kind of performance, which is not an insult to someone who's about to turn 37 years old. It's just the reality of it. So I get why you guys have such confidence in LeBron James. As long as he's there, there's always a chance. And for most of the time of his career, I would have agreed 1,000% with you. But at this point, the LeBron James that I'm seeing, when he hits that starter, that ignition, it is not roaring the way that it once did. And that's why I don't believe that he's enough. It's why, to your point, you need an Anthony Davis to be all that Anthony Davis can be in order for them to win. I can't count on Anthony Davis being there. And if he's not there, I can't count on LeBron James being what he once was.
Yeah, no, Anthony Davis is the factor here for me, 100%. It's not LeBron. If Anthony Davis is healthy with LeBron, they are going to be a problem no matter who they are up against. But one hill I am not going to die on is that LeBron James is washed. I'm just not willing to do it. I'm not predicting when Tom Brady's going to retire, and I'm not calling the end of LeBron's skills either. Not going to be me.